Peter Parker Intern to Bruce Banner by 107th Infantry. Chapter 9. A Hard Week. Peter was wrong, very wrong. Tuesday he had to navigate finding common interests with college students. Though nice, they were in a completely different stage of life. Eventually they settled into a routine of discussing pop culture, vague problems with their projects and their career ambitions. Wednesday, his keycard stopped working. He had to email Mrs. Andrews and was half an hour late to the lab. Apparently, Lab B was confidential, and once Peter had been put into the system, his access had also become confidential. A new keycard had fixed the problem, but his name and position were classified to all Stark systems. Overkill much? Thursday, just when Peter felt that he had gotten into the groove of going to Dr. Banner's lab to research and help out, he was pulled for another project. He liked Liz, but her idea of a good time was counting mites that fell off bees. When Friday finally came around, Peter was so ready for the weekend that he didn't even stay a bit late like usual. Bruce clapped him on the back as he left. "Good work, kid. See you Monday." They worked well together. Peter had come up with a solid plan for his spiders, and Dr. Banner had gotten a lot of help finding a chemical that blocked gamma rays and was thin enough to wear. As Peter left through the thick steel door, he realised something. Steel wasn't the best for blocking gamma rays, lead was. He'd assumed that was why the door was so thick. No, this steel was made to stop something else. He peered back into the lab to see Bruce Banner tinkering carefully with one of his machines. His heart ached for a moment. What would have been different if that spider had been another species or had bitten him somewhere else? He didn't like to think about that. At least he would always have science. That night, Peter went out as Spider-Man for the first time in a week. He swung wildly, enjoying his freedom. 3 muggers were stopped. An older lady was walked home. It was a busy night. Around midnight, Peter started heading home. Just as he got within a few blocks of his house, he spotted Iron Man on the roof. This was not what he needed right now, but he knew there was no avoiding it. Peter slowed his swing and landed next to Tony Stark, who was somehow looking smug through his suit. "What you up to, kid?" He emphasised the kid. Dr. Banner always used it like an afterthought, but Mr. Stark made a point of adding it to everything. "Looking out for the little guy, Mr. Stark," Peter said, trying to end the conversation. "Where have you been this week? I haven't seen any stories on you since last Thursday." "Busy." "Too busy to help the little guy?" "Busy helping the little guy in other ways." Peter did not like where this was going. "Do you want to go on a mission?" Always missions with Mr. Stark. Of course that was why he showed up. Honestly, Peter just wanted a weekend with his friends, but he should probably see what the mission was about before turning it down. "What is it?" "We've got to get someone out of Wakanda." Yeah, this didn't sound like a we problem or a little guy problem. "No thanks." The Iron Man suit opened up to reveal Tony's face. "What do you mean, no thanks? You were all excited about Germany." He actually looked disappointed. "Then I had to fight Captain America. I'm not fighting the Black Panther for you now too." And it was true. Peter was not a minion that you could use when you needed. He was done being a pet. There were good people on both sides of this. The bad people were below him in the streets of his neighbourhood. Tony Stark looked hurt. He turned around and flew off without a word. Which one of us is really immature, Peter wondered. That night, Peter went to bed with chemical formulas floating around his mind. The gamma ray blockers that he and Dr. Banner had made were going to help so many people. He could see them in hospitals as thin as the gowns, protecting people from radiation and helping target tumours. He had helped the little guy, and even Iron Man couldn't take that away from him. Chapter 10. A Day Off. Saturday, Peter got up late and made himself a bowl of cereal. The nice thing about doing an internship rather than school was there wasn't any homework. He could work on some stuff that wasn't sensitive at home, but if he didn't want to, he didn't have to. Today was one of those days. Aunt May came and sat at their small dining table with him. She was gone a lot, but she made sure to chat with him in case he had anything to tell her. This was one of those times. "Hey Peter, how'd your first week of the internship go?" She started eating her own cereal and looking at him expectantly. Really well. My supervisor and I designed something that will help a lot of people. Peter had to be careful, but he really did want to tell her about how much fun he was having. Really? You're not just doing paperwork? Nope. I get to help with graduate student projects sometimes, but usually I do my own thing and make stuff. I should text Tony thank you, May said, pulling out her phone. Don't, Peter responded, panic on the edge of his voice. May took a harder look at the boy. Why? It's just that I don't think he knows, and I don't want him to. He'd just treat me like a kid or pull me out for Spidey duties. I have a good thing going, May. I don't want to ruin that. May put down the phone, but she didn't respond. Peter sometimes thought she had a supernatural sense too. She knew that there was more to this. Peter gave in. He wanted me to go to Wakanda to help him get someone out. Absolutely not, Peter. I know, that's what I told him. Peter kept talking, despite May's raised eyebrows. He doesn't get to take me to random other countries to fight for him. I don't think anyone was even in danger. Please just let me have this internship without him knowing. You'll know that he'll find out anyway, don't you, Peter? It's his company. Peter thought back to the keycard fiasco. He won't. He will, and you'll handle that yourself. Okay. The tension dropped out of May's voice as she put the dishes away. Go play with your friends, honey. If I know you, you're already late. Shit. Peter grabbed his bag and ran out of the door. He was already 15 minutes late. MJ and Ned were settled into the couch in Ned's living room when he got there. It was a fairly small apartment, but it was empty for the day, so they had jumped on the opportunity to meet up here. MJ stuck out her tongue out as he entered and motioned towards a fully formed Lego Athena cabin. You're late. You knew that I would be. That's why I was 10 minutes late. Sorry. Peter sat in between his friends, grabbing some pieces to fiddle with. Ned responded instead of MJ. It's fine, man. So what happened this week? I met Dr. Banner and we built some really cool stuff, and then I met other interns, and then Mr. Stark tried to take me to Wakanda. As the friends chatted about the whole week that they were separated, the TV remote lay forgotten on the floor. At some point a new Lego set had to be pulled out, but it barely interrupted the flow of their talking. MJ talking about idiotic customers, Ned talked about college professors, and Peter, well, he talked about Dr. Banner. He talked about a hand on his shoulder and a stack of papers left on his desk. He talked about a brisket sandwich and a clean workspace. His words flowed between those of the others in a way that his Spider-Man stories never had. By the time Peter left, he felt better than he had in a long time. Sure, high school had been fine, but he'd never been excited for Monday. Now, he was. He said goodbye to Ned and kissed MJ on the cheek. Life was good. Hi, I hope you enjoyed the podfic. If you do, please consider subscribing as I try to upload at least twice a week. It really makes my day. I'm taking requests, so if you have a favourite fic you would like covered, drop me a comment and I will reach out to the author for you. Have a lovely day.